And we are the Non-Profits. I'm your host, not Jeff D. I'm Russell Glasser. Our co-host is Denis Loubet, and filling in today for the missing Jeff D., who is out sick, is Mary McManamee.
Hi, all.
Whose house she generously allows us to use as the substitute for Glasser Studios. This is Burnett McManamee Studios.
That's right. Yeah. Burnett. Just like Carol.
Yes, I get confused because my office is on Burnett.
Right.
We should have come up with a much more mysterious and foreboding reason as to why Jeff's not here. That would have been...
that would be good.
Got him.
They got him.
He's converted.
Trapped in the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah. We are live, March 26, 2005. Any instances of slurs, defamation, or discrimination against atheists or other non-believers in the United States media should be reported to the National Atheist Ombuds by emailing ombuds@atheism.org. Please remember to include as many details as possible and a news source where applicable. Incidents will be reported to participating national and local non-theist organizations who have agreed to distribute press releases regarding the reported subject matter. Their website is ombudsman.secular.ws. And I've been sent a calendar of CFI events from Jeff. CFI, I understand, will in fact be joining us in Austin, but will not be officially linking with the Atheist Community of Austin.
That's right.
Interesting.
But we like them.
We do very much.
On March 25th, is the United States a Christian nation? A debate between David Kopsel and Steve Crampton, State University of New York, Knox 104, Amherst, New York, at 7 p.m.
Fantastic.
April 4th, Evidence, Subjectivity, and Faith. Austin Dacey and George Kristovich will discuss how evidence and the subjective value of experience affects the most personal of decisions which go into determining one's faith or lack thereof. Western New England College of Law, Springfield, Massachusetts, at 6 p.m. April 6th, University of Iowa in Des Moines, Iowa, time to be announced. Noted Quranic scholar Ibn Warraq will lecture to graduate students at the University of Iowa on his findings from years of Quranic criticism. April 8th, the true meaning of separation of church and state. Eddie Tabish, Queensborough Community College Medical Arts Building Lecture. And that should hold you for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. We'll be here all day.
So, I guess, is that about it? Yeah, that's it for the opening announcements. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Yeah.
And hello, Jeff D. in the chat room and all the other usual cool people who join us in the chat room. B&M and I don't see Rude Boy. But
yes, we can say that he's sick enough to be in our chat room.
Yes. As opposed to sick enough to be on the show. So here we are. I'd like to do my usual maintenance stuff while Dennis reads the first news story.
And which one should that be?
Wow.
Shrivo. What have I...
No, I guess we get enough of that.
On everyone's lips. Yes.
We get enough of that on faux news.
Yeah.
The pun doesn't come across as well when you pronounce it.
Oh, well.
You might say Fox News.
Fox. F-A-U-X.
And I'll read the first news stories
please.
if you wish.
Then we can start doing segues.
People in the chat room will warn me if we're entirely not broadcasting. But, of course, they won't hear me say this.
Right.
In any case...
Well, they'll simply say, when's it gonna start?
Yeah.
Speak up!
Ashley Smith, have you guys heard about this?
Yes, but remind us.
No, please, okay.
There may be some people in the chat room who need enlightenment.
Well, Ashley Smith has been collecting accolades, and now she's collected some cash in the form of a $70,000 reward for her actions in the aftermath of this month's courthouse shootings in Atlanta. CBS News correspondent Jim Acosta reports it was a payday Smith never asked for. But on Thursday, Smith got the reward for persuading accused gunman Brian Nichols, who held her hostage in her apartment for 13 hours, that it was time to stop the violence and surrender.
That was the woman who talked to her captor and convinced him that God was in his heart.
Yeah, she offered him cookies or something, right?
Yeah, something.
Or real...
tangible food.
Real butter.
Well, no one ever said that religion doesn't appeal to people in emotional distress. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Chihuahuas.
Yeah.
Well, whatever tool works.
Well, anyway, what's the latest development?
She's been all over the religious babble. She said... Smith's story is, by the way, this comes from anointed.net, so this is, not the unbiased news source, but I got this particular one to highlight the icky language used in it.
Oh, please, yes.
My life, Smith said at the ceremony, is a testimony that God can use us even in the midst of tragedy, and miracles do happen. She says she'll use the money she just got to pay off loans, and she'll give some of it to her church.
Hold it. So she's saying that because this guy held her hostage and maybe terrorized her is too strong a word, but she's saying that she's crediting God for the miracle of him letting her go. Is she also crediting God for him coming into her house in the first place?
Yes, apparently God arranged things, as he often does, so that this guy would kill 4 people so that she could get $70,000.
It's a miracle that 4 people are dead.
It's not interesting enough for God to just, deposit $70,000 in her bank account. No, he likes to, because, God doesn't like to mess with economy.
It is.
Instead, he said, I think I'll give this lady $70,000. So first let me kill some people. Let this guy kill some people, and then hold this woman hostage for 13 hours, and then I'll arrange for her to get $70,000.
Preposterous.
And
because,
interesting,
God
her little talk has nothing to say about 4 dead people? No mention of them?
Well...
At all?
Well...
Conveniently overlooked for the sake of her story.
God works in... he works in mysterious and, frankly, often nonsensical ways.
Brutal and sadistic and barbarous ways.
Yeah.
Barbarous ways. Barbarous.
Tim made an interesting point yesterday. We were on the way home, and he was saying how he's very much at peace now with his atheism, and so he said he doesn't really think about it much. And we talked to a woman yesterday at the restaurant we were at who was very much a Christian, and, Tim feels it's very selfish to pray in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
Because you always pray to ask for things. And Tim really feels that, okay, if you're going to pray, you ought to do it in order to be subservient to this God who's such a sadistic bastard. Because that's really the only reason that makes, quote-unquote, sense to pray. Is, don't pray to ask for stuff.
The woman said that?
No, that's what Tim was saying. Yeah, Tim was just saying that. Because it makes, in other words, it makes more sense to pray to this sadistic bastard than it makes to ask for something and then your wish is magically granted.
Well, often people pray for somebody's heart to turn around, right? Which is the same as saying, I pray for you to be mind-controlled so that you can agree with my position for a change.
They're also saying, you're completely wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a given.
You can say that,
it's a given that they think we're completely wrong. I think they're completely wrong, so hey. But I don't pray for them to be brainwashed so that they'll change their mind.
Yeah.
Of course, it wouldn't do me any good, because I don't have anything to pray to.
Yep, I'm so glad we don't.
Yes. Jeff, who is desperately wanting to contribute today.
Yes.
Poor Jeff. That'll teach you to get sick.
Yeah. But thank you.
Could we please have one of us atheists taken hostage at gunpoint? So that we can get on the news and tell everyone how our lack of religion got us through it.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, man.
But see, Jeff, then he would have just blown us away. So that's not really a fair contest. Because clearly the guy was already susceptible to believing in something, or that wouldn't have worked. So I don't know. I'd like to agree with you.
We could sit down with him and make him a plate of spaghetti or whatever.
There you go.
And say, listen, man, you've been told your whole life that life is meaningless unless you believe in some higher power. But let me tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Life is worth living just because it's the only shot you get, and so on.
Right.
Yeah.
Think that would work?
Rational thought? I don't know. It might.
It's worth a try.
Who knows?
Of course, he'd already killed 4 people by that time.
Yeah,
so
it's not exactly an easy
know.
task.
Tough to rationalize that one.
Right.
Go right for the emotional argument.
So, what's next?
Okay. Well, okay, I'll do the bill to control leftist professors.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
man.
They're out of control.
Yeah. The law could let students sue for untolerated beliefs. Tallahassee. Republicans on the House Choice and Innovation Committee voted along party lines Tuesday to pass a bill that aims to stamp out leftist totalitarianism by dictator professors in the classrooms of Florida's universities.
What is up with Florida?
They're dictators.
Oh, man.
Dictators.
Do you think this is happening just because Jeb Bush is in office, or is this Florida always this wacky? I don't know. I was born in Miami, but I don't remember it.
I've got history, Mary. The whole country is this wacky.
No. Go to Seattle. Go to Washington State. Go to the entire West Coast.
But we're in Texas.
I know.
We're hardly ones to be talking about wacky states.
While promoting the bill Tuesday, Baxley said a university education should be more than one biased view by the professor, who as a dictator controls the classroom, as part of a misuse of their platform to indoctrinate the next generation with their own views.
Hang on, indoctrinate?
Whoa.
People go to private universities to be educated. Hello?
Right.
What is this indoctrination crap?
But
how do you have a classroom where you don't state stuff?
Yeah,
someone's going to object to everything.
Professors are supposed to teach you stuff. You don't get taught stuff by somebody who doesn't know more about the stuff than you do. They tell you things that you probably don't already know. Otherwise, you wouldn't be taking the class, right?
Well, is that right, Dennis?
Yeah, according to a legislative staff analysis of the bill, the law would give students who think their beliefs are not being respected legal standing to sue professors and universities.
Oh, man.
Students who believe their professor is singling them out for public ridicule, for instance, when professors use the Socratic method to force students to explain their theories in class, would also be given the right to sue.
So
heaven forbid you should be able to defend your position.
Having to explain yourself equals ridicule.
Asking questions is ridicule.
Yes.
Asking questions.
Oh, my.
We're doomed. That's it.
Yeah, this is insane. Some professors say, evolution is a fact. I don't want to hear about intelligent design, a creationist theory, and if you don't like it, there's the door, Baxley said, citing one example when he thought a student should sue.
Oh, man.
And so it's like, okay, guy promotes evolution, then it's, the Hindus, the Native Americans, anyone can sue him. Boom. Multiple suits right there. Bang.
Clearly they understand.
What the hell?
They understand nothing about the Socratic method. One of my favorite stories about Socrates is that he allegedly used to ask people on the street, instead of saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" If he hadn't seen somebody for a while, he would say, "What have you learned?" That would be the first thing he'd ask them.
That's actually a pretty good greeting.
Yeah.
I'd like to go around trying that.
I would too.
Representative Dan Gelber, Democrat from Miami Beach, warned of lawsuits from students enrolled in Holocaust history courses who believe the Holocaust never happened. He said similar suits could be filed by students who don't believe astronauts landed on the moon, who believe teaching birth control is a sin, or even by shans medical students who refuse to perform blood transfusion and believe prayer is the only way to heal the body.
Yeah, or like...
This is a horrible step.
I got a bad grade on a physics test once, and I thought I had, like, bullshitted my way through a question, which you don't do that well in physics class. But apparently, I could have sued my professor saying, look, this is a valid answer. It's my belief.
Right.
Man. So how are they going to have public education if this bill passes?
I have no idea.
This is very frightening. And I wonder if it's just in... This would be for the whole state, correct?
It sounds like.
Oh, man. For any public university, I suppose. This is fascist.
It's insane. I mean, it's using law to intimidate the destruction, basically, of the university.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't be able to say anything.
Oh, man. Yeah, what does that guy say? You started to mention, he said this is a horrible step.
This is a horrible step. He said universities will have to hire lawyers so our curricula can be decided by judges in courtrooms. Professors might have to pay court costs, even if they win, from their own pockets. This is not an innocent piece of legislation.
Oh, man.
You know, I want to get into this thing a little later about an argument I had last week with a postmodernist. And it's interesting because postmodernism is essentially the belief that everything is subjective. I mean, this kind of extreme postmodernism that this guy was pushing. That everything is subjective, that it's all opinions, and that the only, really wrong thing is to say that somebody's opinion is invalid. And it's funny because Christians are always railing against this kind of postmodernism, but here they are pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If this professor makes me feel bad by stating something as truth, then I can,
they'll sacrifice it to level what they perceive to be an uneven playing field.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to bring everything down to a completely bogus level.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're
Just
after.
crazy.
Oh, man.
I mean, I was thinking, like religion and postmodernism are perfect, composites, because it's like they both want to eliminate any possibility of falsification of anything.
Right. Of
so
course.
You can't make a statement. All you can do is just sort of, everything's
Yeah, of
everything.
course,
Yeah.
Heavenly Father is making a good point, which I should have thought of.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is naturally what they want is for the public school system to go down in flames.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
But,
Because...
yeah, well, we're not talking vouchers, but this is university level. I mean, what... Would there be vouchers for the universities?
But
they would want all oral
I
moderate
doubt
universities.
that there are going to be school vouchers for you to go to the university.
Of course, since I got this from Alt-Atheism.
But that's a good point, Heavenly Father.
People immediately suggested that the evil atheist conspiracy, which doesn't exist, should arrange for students atheist students to enroll in all the religious universities.
Yeah.
We can put them out of business like that.
Just like that.
But there's more of
Send them
them.
into oblivion.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
There's a lot more of them.
A lot more religious universities?
Yeah, I mean,
but
they would like... ultimately, this whole, postmodernism tactic that they're after is they would like atheism and theism to be just a couple of ideas duking it out. Because there's more of that.
Mm-hmm.
They, you say, well, I'll just go to your schools and stop them from saying theism. But, if it comes to just two groups of people duking it out, they figure, hey, 70% are us.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see who wins, dudes.
Man. Oh, and I noticed, I don't know, Dennis, if yours has this link, but it says that House Bill 837 can be viewed online at www.flsen, Florida Senate, FLSenate.gov.
Yeah.
Man, check it out.
I read this thing and I went, okay, is this from some weird, blog or something that some source I can't trust? Because it seemed insane on the face of it.
It's horrible.
And no, apparently
of course,
it's real.
It hasn't passed, right?
Right.
No.
Academic freedom rights Wait a minute here. Sponsored by Representative Dennis Baxley, Republican, Ocala, passed 8-2.
Well, sure, it has...
Despite strenuous objections from only 2 Democrats on the committee.
8-2?
Ooh.
Yeah. The bill has 2 more committees to pass before it can be considered by the full House.
Man.
So not yet. But
yes, I was going to say, insane stuff must go in front of the Senate all the time, and even more so for individual states.
But they let it leap a hurdle. Why would they possibly let this insane
How could it
crap
get this far?
Past even one vote?
I know. And I really am frightened, y'all, about when it gets to Jeb Bush's desk. If it does get that far, he would sign that in a heartbeat. He would sign it. Ugh.
We'll see what happens.
Oh, man.
Mary, do you have something?
Can I switch to some fun news? Some funny stuff? Just for a second? I need to get off that a minute.
I'm sure there's plenty more to be terrified about today.
Okay. Well, this is out of Austin legislature, that is.
Yeah?
About sexy cheerleading.
Whoa.
Cheerleading here is
more of it?
Sexy. Yes.
Too sexy for my game.
Well, there wasn't much cheering in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but we've been watching that show lately. No, it is fun news.
Something else.
They're not going to get that far. They're not going to. I just think it's hilarious. The Friday Night Lights in Texas could soon be without bumping and grinding cheerleaders. Oh, yes, folks. Legislation filed by Representative Al Edwards would put an end to, quote, sexually suggestive performances at athletic events and other extracurricular competitions.
Wait a minute, they give us these movies that show these kids doing all this stuff, and then they yank it away?
American Beauty, one of the best scenes in all of film.
This has gone too far. It's high time we had cheerleaders wearing burqas.
Yeah.
I think Edwards would really like that, actually. I've got to do Edwards, too, because I could totally, and I love King of the Hill with Hank Hill, but man, I can just hear Hank Hill saying this. It's just too sexually oriented, you know, the way they're shaking their behinds and going on, breaking it down. That's what he said. And then we say to them, don't get involved in sex unless it's marriage or love. It's dangerous out there, and yet the teachers and directors are helping them go through those kind of gyrations.
I'm sorry. On a related note, I just signed a form for my stepdaughter to be allowed to take a sex education class.
You did?
Cool.
Abstinence only.
Oh, Russell.
No, she brought it home. It was it was from the school, and it said little note on the bottom said abstinence only.
Oh no!
What's the class gonna be about?
Just increase your chances.
No,
and I do have a story about that. But I'll go next. But.
Well, that's really all this says.
Isn't that like taking a driver's ed class that says, okay, don't drive?
Right. Yeah.
No. Do hormones mean anything to these people? I don't know.
No, only self-righteousness means anything.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, man. Well, again, it doesn't go into great detail about what the future of this bill will be, but I would really be surprised if it gets very far. It might, but we'll follow it and let y'all know.
People won't stand for it. I want to see beehives.
Yeah.
People won't stand for it. That's what I used to think.
You're right. Meanwhile, in sex education news...
Yeah?
Study shows that many virgins take other risks. New Haven, Connecticut. Teens who pledge to remain virgins until marriage are more likely to take chances with other kinds of sex that increase the risk of sexually transmitted disease.
Sex. I thought it was like hang gliding or something.
Yeah, other risks.
Other risks.
A study of 12,000 adolescents suggests. Excuse me. The report by Yale and Columbia University researchers could help explain their earlier findings that teens who pledge abstinence are just as likely to have STDs as their peers. The latest study, published in the April issue of the Journal of Adolescent Health, found that teens pledging virginity until marriage are more likely to have oral and anal sex than other teens who have not had intercourse.
Need we mention these are high-risk behaviors?
Yeah.
Anal sex especially.
Not oral.
I gotta wonder if
Not so
deliberate
much.
or just confusion. I mean,
But no, you can spread herpes through oral sex.
But not as high as regular sex.
Well,
But anal, that's another story.
Yeah, anal is definitely risky.
But really, can you imagine the discussions that must go on? Hey, baby, want to have sex? No, I've taken a pledge of virginity.
Sex?
Okay.
What's that?
Okay, how about anal? Let's go. I hope they're proud of themselves.
Oh, that's not sex. No one described that to me as sex, so I guess it's okay.
And I'm still a virgin, so that'll be fine.
Yeah.
No.
Among virgins, boys who pledged abstinence were 4 times more likely to have had anal sex than teens who have remained abstinent, but not as part of the pledge. Okay, so not 4 times as likely as all teenagers, just 4 times as likely as virgins. Technical virgins.
Technical, yeah.
Wow.
Overall, pledgers were 6 times more likely to have oral sex, which, frankly, I'm all for. I support teenagers doing that.
Well, tell us the story about the abstinence
I don't
class.
have a story. She just brought home a piece of paper for me to sign, and it said they were going to be undergoing sex education, which obviously some parents might be afraid of, even if it is abstinence only.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you rather they get some kind of sex education, or would you prefer that they just not even talk about abstinence
because, we are pretty open with our kids. Mm-hmm. We tell them straight up what it's all about.
Yeah.
Let them read books that most kids probably aren't allowed to read.
Right.
I mean, not just your "what's happening to my body" kind of books, but sex is fun kind of books.
Yeah.
And this class, I would suspect, is going to go about trying to undo all the things that they already know. Like you hear these people all the time saying, there is no such thing as safe sex. Mm-hmm. You're just as likely to catch a disease if you use a condom.
No.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
Misinformation.
Some information, is not. If it's misinformation, it's worse than useless.
Right. Right.
It's like.
Yep.
Yes, it is worse than useless. So I don't know if I'd rather them have this than nothing.
You might have to do it yourself.
I've told her to go in as a spy and let me know what they're doing.
Excellent.
Santa Claus in the chat room is asking, can you have anal sex and still be a virgin? Well, yes, you can if your hymen is not broken. Technically.
That doesn't do. I mean, it keeps you from getting pregnant.
Yes.
Doesn't keep you from getting diseases, which I would think is one of the main points.
Mm-hmm.
And that hymen thing only works for the girls. What is the deciding factor for us guys?
Yeah, I wonder.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
What do I have to do to not be a virgin?
My gosh, I could still be a virgin. Oh, no!
It requires hanging from a chandelier while...
Well, Jeff is giving a clinical explanation of it now.
Oh, no.
So I'm in
Step 1.
Yeah.
Tune into the chat log of this episode if you're really interested. Yeah.
All right.
So, Dennis.
Yes? What other things? Stories? I have a bizarre little story.
Oh, yes.
Pope dies.
What? What?
Not that Pope.
Oh.
The true Pope.
Oh, wait a minute.
Reuters here, Madrid.
Reuters,
sorry. The leader of a secretive Spanish sect who said he was the true Pope and that the Vatican was controlled by the devil has died, a town hall official said Tuesday.
He said he was the Pope?
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess it's true. I'm in no position to say he's not.
I am. I'm the Pope.
Oh, well, damn.
No.
Gregorio.
I haven't told you guys until now, but
the
fact is...
1758 was the leader of a self-styled church whose followers believed he would be crucified before a kind of apocalypse would take place.
Oh, weird.
Gregorio believed God crowned him after Pope Paul VI's death in 1978, and he rejected changes made to the Catholic Church in the 1960s, such as saying Mass in local languages rather than Latin, and dialogue with other branches of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Information packages handed out at the vast cathedral-like complex show pictures of Gregorio, who lost his eyes in a car crash with bleeding hands, forehead, and torso similar to the wounds of Christ on the cross. I have no idea what that paragraph really says.
Was he actually crucified, though?
I don't know.
So wait a minute. He got holes in his hands.
Something.
That doesn't make you crucified. That just makes you have yucky hands.
The sect, based in the southern Spanish town of El Palmar de Troya, but with members from as far away as the United States, conferred sainthood on former Spanish dictator Francisco Franco. He's a saint. Cool. A town hall official said Gregorio had died, although she could not confirm when. A local police officer said the bells at the vast walled church complex had been ringing for about an hour Tuesday morning.
Oh, man.
Officials at the church declined to comment on reports of Gregorio's death and whether anyone would succeed him. I mean, whoa, secretive is right, man.
There.
They just... We're way out of...
Now, wait, was that in Italy? That was going on, or did it
Spain, I think.
Wow. And y'all
Just
did that
really
story a few weeks ago
bizarre.
about how Spain is supposed to be all, like,
well, surely there's little pockets of insanity. But
that's really...
The country itself can be
out
fine,
there.
But, you know.
But man. Wow. I really would love to know if someone could do a study... You know, when stories like this come up, I would love for some social scientist or somebody to study these people and determine what kind of childhood they had and who their parents are and siblings, and because there's got to be some connection about the way people are raised and the kind of values they end up having.
What would make you say, "I'm true"? I mean, I have no idea.
That is so weird. It's just.
No, really.
No.
I'm the true Pope.
No, it's me.
It's me.
I'm the Pope.
Kiss my ring.
I'm the Pope, and so is my wife.
I thought Pope on a Rope was the real Pope. Have y'all seen that soap?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but be careful, because according to definitions, you could lose your virginity to that.
I did get a bobblehead Buddy Christ.
Oh, you did? Oh,
yes,
that sounds
fun.
To me
as a gift.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, good.
Who's next?
What's next?
Well, let's see. Do you have any more, Russell?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to take a brief diversion to put us onto an Air America radio segment.
Ah.
Oh, boy.
Those of you who are listening in Austin, and those of you who are not listening in Austin, know that at least two of us are big Air America fans. We now are no longer confined to the internet here in Austin because we were officially Air America's 50th station to open up.
Yay!
So if you're in Austin, 1600 AM is the station, and listen to them all the time except for Saturdays at 2 p.m.
Cool. So now
when there's a much better show on.
It covers all 50 cities, right?
Yes, well, they cover several cities.
Okay.
And even more exciting, well, not necessarily more exciting, but Al Franken came here, and I played hooky from work on the day he was here. That was 2 Mondays ago.
To have a brush with celebrity?
So that I could sit and watch a live show.
That's fantastic.
So Jeff and I, got up at 7:30 in the morning, drove down there, hung out. Where were you, Dennis, by the way?
Oh, I was asleep.
Okay. Because you were going to come with us.
I was.
All right. But no.
That's early.
We met Linda
Too early.
Raymond there, and
Oh, good.
we stood in line, and we didn't really need to stand in line because the theater was only mostly full. But we got
Okay.
good close seats, like in the
Good.
6th row.
Excellent.
And that was a lot of fun because they're so much better than when they started.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed those episodes.
I listened to them from the first day, and I thought, we're better than this.
Oh.
So they needed a little work from the beginning.
Yeah.
But they've gotten really good.
Good.
And they've done several live shows by now, and they've really learned to work a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So, Catherine Lanfer, you don't see this during the shows when they broadcast live, but she's actually sort of waving her hands around, directing the crowd, doing her own little applause sign type thing. She goes, "You're live from Austin, Texas?" She waves, and the crowd all cheers.
What is the sound of two hands clapping?
And that was cool because, we've done one live show where we interviewed Michael Newdow.
That's right, when CFI was in town.
Yeah. So I know personally that was one of the most fun shows we've ever done.
It was.
Yeah. So, going live to Air America was a blast.
Cool.
And they interviewed Molly Ivins. That's cool.
Molly Ivins is cool. They also interviewed the chick from Wonkette.com, which is a political blog, and she's hot.
Oh,
Jeff
yeah. Was she the one who wanted people to shag if Bush won
No,
or
I
lost?
remember that.
It
You're
must have been
thinking
lost.
of votergasm.org.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
No,
But hot is something she can put on her resume now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
She's got an official review. And she's got a good blog, too.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, darn, I missed something hot. Oh.
But Air America, Jeff also sent me something because we're now able to listen to it in the car and hear a lot more of their incredibly obnoxious commercials.
Ads. Yeah.
Oh.
My favorites are the ones where they have honking horns in the commercial. And you think it's somebody behind you. Oh, I hate that.
You know what I hate? They've got ads from the Dental Night Guard, where they
Haven't heard that one yet.
Oh,
they play the noise of grinding your teeth.
Oh.
And I don't know what ad wizard came up with that one, because when that comes on, that's the first thing I hear in the commercial. I turn it off.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not going to listen to that
I'm
commercial.
tempted to do that to the darn one with the asthma
Oh, man.
attacks.
Oh, you mean the one that goes...
This is an asthma attack. You don't have to sit there and do it for 5 minutes. Good.
Well, they need to have y'all's ads on there.
Yeah,
we could do some
nonprofit ads.
I have contacted Air America marketing department.
Yay.
Not nationwide, so you guys won't be hearing for us, but I've asked them about their rates for advertising the Atheist Community of Austin.
Yay.
And they seem pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Anyway.
Their ads also paint a rather strange picture of their constituency. If we are allowed to draw that kind of
I know. I'm not
conclusion.
sure.
I don't like it.
I'm not sure I want the people who go for Wendy the hypnotist to be coming to Atheist Community meetings. Anyway, here's Jeff's letter, so I haven't read it, but I'll do my best to do an impression of Jeff.
Oh, no.
And he should enjoy that.
He'll enjoy that.
Dear Air America, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the Andy Willoughby 3-step plan ad you're running on the internet broadcast points the listener to a rather disturbing right-wing Christian fundamentalist website, 3stepplan.com. I'm just doing a generic outreach, guy. I'm not really doing Jeff, so this is terrible. On that site, they tell you that if you give them your name and phone number, they'll let you download a book called The Bible on Success. Luckily, I was able to submit a blank form and check out this book. You can peek at it, too, if you go to 3stepplan.diverge.us/BibleOnSuccess.pdf. Here's a disturbing excerpt. Understand that if something does not lead you closer to Jesus, it will always lead you away from him. Anyone who thinks that he has accomplished something using New Age methods will usually wake up to discover that he has purchased 1,000 square acres of quicksand. Satan's only goal is to make sure that every person on earth dies without a savior. He will continue playing the game of distraction throughout your lifetime, approaching you constantly from different angles and with different lures. And it just keeps getting crazier. Check it out for yourselves.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. I say, let him have it. Let him go there because, hey, it doesn't... I don't think most people would go there and be scared by that. I think most people would laugh. I really do.
I mean, hope.
Okay.
This ad presents itself as an offer of a home business opportunity.
Oh, no. Multi-level fright.
Yeah, anytime you hear home business, go multi-level marketing.
Oh, no.
But it is really a stealth campaign to get your listeners' home phone numbers and convert them into fundamentalist evangelical Christians.
Oh, no.
Christianity is fine and all, but stealth conversion is unethical, and this particular brand of Christianity is the kind that's aligned with the Bush administration.
Jeff says, stop doing me, Russell.
What?
Jeff says, stop doing me, Russell. But you're not. You said you were.
Not really. I hope you will investigate this and that you will find it appropriate to drop this advertiser. Jeff D. in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, right on.
There are a lot of ads that bug me, in case you haven't realized it already.
Multi-level Christian marketing.
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure.
Well, that's no different than the people who sell Bibles door to door, or not just Bibles.
Well, it is because it's viral.
The meme, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just selling people Bibles. It's selling people a Bible and an opportunity to go sell more Bibles.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The promise of riches.
Yeah. Oh, my. We had some Bible salespeople come to our door a few...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I guess it's been about 7 or 8 months ago, and the woman who showed up said, "Have you found Jesus? Or discovered Jesus?" And,
I didn't know he was missing.
And I said, "Well, no, we're atheists." And she said, "Oh." And I said, "Well," she said, "Well, would you like a Bible?" And I said, "Well, no." And I said, "The reason I don't is because," she said, "is there some reason you've moved away from God?" And I said, "Well, it's mostly because of comparative religion." And I elaborated just briefly and said, there's no way to know which religion is right, and even if we did, none of them make sense. So.
The reason you moved away.
Well, anyway, it's now just a little side note there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think it convinced her.
Learning more about religions is the one thing that is the biggest thing that can turn you atheist.
Yeah.
Read the Bible. I have another story.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Gay cruise refused entry to Caribbean port.
That's super. No, wait. It's not.
Thanks for asking. A gay cruise has been denied access to a Caribbean island of the Nevis after a port authority representative said locals would find it offensive. The Miami-based Windjammer Barefoot cruise ship is carrying 110 passengers on a 6-day cruise around the Caribbean. The vessel was stopped yesterday outside the port of Charleston, Nevis, by police patrol, which boarded the boat. We don't want to allow people on the island, from what I've heard, could be naked and carry a certain lifestyle and practices, said Oral Brandy, acting general manager of the Nevis Port Authority. We don't want it to be a part of our culture. It's not a practice society likes here. According to the cruise company, gay cruises have visited the former British colony in the past without causing any problems. Most of the cruise passengers are U.S. nationals.
Oh, my. Well, if they want to give up that revenue, that's really what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're just hurting themselves and their local economy. I don't know, Dennis, what's your thought on that as far as why... he was saying that obviously it's a lifestyle that people don't... What did he say? He said something like people don't... You don't have to read it, but people don't like...
They don't like it
They don't like it here. Do they really like it anywhere? It doesn't seem like this is a new idea, I don't know...
The thing is it an issue?
Yeah, I don't understand why people get their panties all in a wad about this.
this is a Caribbean thing. It's not the U.S., so I guess since it's a foreign country, they can do whatever they want. I mean,
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's just strange.
It is.
It's just a little sign of intolerance.
And, how much do you want to bet this is a religiously based motive for them refusing their entry? Yeah. Damn those conquistadors who made it to those little islands before the atheists did.
I don't think there were a lot of Spanish atheists.
No, I know. But
They had an inquisition back then, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I was just hoping some secularists would have made it to the islands. That way they wouldn't have been proselytized to, but oh well.
Okay, is everybody else avoiding reading any news?
No, I'm getting some.
I just
I'll do some.
You've been taking turns.
Let's see. I want to talk about another story in Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all aren't going to believe this. You probably have already seen it, but okay. What's the word in Texas that we've heard a lot about lately concerning textbooks?
Intelligent design?
Yeah, intelligent design
yes.
and evolution. Well, in Fort Worth, we all know the IMAX movies, which are so amazing, right?
Yeah.
Well, in Fort Worth, the film Volcanoes of the Deep Sea was rejected by the Museum of Science and History because of
too much violence?
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? All that lava and heat and fire and brimstone. No, it's because they say the public got all in an uproar about the fact that the film was talking about, you guessed it, evolution.
Oh.
Yeah.
But evolution's happened.
I know. The museum director, Van Romans, with the blessing of the board of directors of the museum.
Blessing.
I know. That was the choice of the reporter, not me,
folks.
Reversed the museum's decision and said the film will open in Fort Worth before summer. But the fact that this was even an issue is just beyond comprehension. I do not understand. And thankfully, the film is also being promoted now on the museum's website. Yeah. And this is a museum.
But it's a science film. It has to say this.
I know. But the scary thing is, in all seriousness, this is not just an isolated incident. Apparently, a lot of the IMAX movie theaters around the country are pulling films because they talk about evolution, or they talk about something that's against Christian or other religious doctrines.
Right.
So,
it's because
So support your local IMAX.
Is IMAX a private business, or do they get... I mean, I know our IMAX is at Bob Bullock Museum.
Right, it's a history museum.
Yeah, which is partly state-run, right?
Right. I think it varies, because the one in San Antonio is at the mall, so I guess that one is privately owned somehow. But I don't really know the story with all of them. But I guess it depends on who owns the theater, perhaps, or the management company that owns the theater. I don't know. At least it doesn't seem to be the distributor that has a problem with it. It's the theater where it's being to be shown. But, oh man.
The Christians, they threaten to boycott this theater or that theater, and it's like they cave in. I mean, rather than take the risk. I mean,
it's really terrible, especially for a museum to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it makes it any better if it's some private company
but
that's
I see your point about it being a museum.
It's a museum.
Because, I mean, aren't they going to start objecting to the content?
Yeah.
Well, doesn't that mean that they're going to start coming into natural history museums and demand
take that dinosaur down,
or at least take down the plaque that says it's over 65 million years old? Right. I mean, we all know that they can't be more than 6,000 years old.
Exactly. No. Any word from the chat room?
Everybody's still on the Clear channels. I mean, on the Air America subject, and talking about the fact that Clear Channel broadcasts.
Oh, yes.
As you know, Clear Channel is evil.
Speaking of 6,000-year-old dinosaurs?
Oh, yeah. What do we got? Oh, yeah.
What?
Who's got the T-Rex?
The T-Rex story.
Oh, well, you do, and I don't know it. I have it, but I don't know that much about it. Let's talk about some real natural history instead of made-up stuff that they want.
Right
this
on.
This is a little science bit here. A T-Rex fossil has soft tissues. Now, between quotes, it's not exactly they found meat.
Yeah, okay.
But dinosaur experts have extracted samples of what appear to be soft tissues from a Tyrannosaurus rex fossil bone.
Wow.
The U.S. researchers tell Science Magazine that the organic components resemble cells and fine blood vessels.
Bring on the clones!
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
In the hotly contested field of dino research, the work will be greeted with acclaim and disbelief in equal measure. What seems certain is that some fairly remarkable conditions must have existed at the Montana site where T-Rex died 68 million years ago.
Whoa.
No, they didn't, you liar.
Oh, the theists are boycotting our show. Well,
oh, gee, they were such a big segment of our audience before.
Yeah, normally when an animal dies, worms and bugs will quickly eat up anything that is soft. Then, as the remaining bone material gets buried deeper and deeper in the mud, it gets heated, crushed, and replaced by minerals. It is turned to stone. The form, and nothing else, is all that's left of the original. On the outside, the hind limb fossil designated MOR 1125 has this appearance. But when Dr. Mary Schweitzer of North Carolina State University dissolved away the minerals, she found something extraordinary inside.
Wow.
She discovered transparent, flexible filaments that resembled blood vessels. There were also traces of what looked like red blood cells and others that looked like osteocyte cells that build and maintain bones.
Incredible.
Now, I don't know anything about this. Can you actually get DNA out of that sort of thing?
I don't see why not.
I don't know.
But I don't know either.
It still has places where there are no secondary minerals, and it's not any more dense than modern bone. It's bone more than anything. Dr. Schweitzer is not making any grand claims that these soft traces are the degraded remnants of the original material, only that they give that appearance. She and other scientists will want to establish if some hitherto unexplained fine-scale process has been at work. Man, that's wild.
Well, I watch a lot of forensic files, and it's amazing what they can get from a single hair with the mitochondrial DNA. I wonder if they'll be able to do mitochondrial DNA for the T-Rex. But then again, I guess they'd have to know who its mother was.
Inevitably, people will wonder whether the creature's DNA might also be found. But the life molecule degrades rapidly over 1,000-year timescales, and the chances of a sample surviving from the Cretaceous are not considered seriously.
Yeah. Well,
I actually don't work with DNA, and my lab is not set up to do that, said Dr. Schweitzer. Our goal is more to look and see what we can find with respect to the proteins that are coded by the DNA. To a large degree, most of the chemical studies have been done suggested proteins are more durable than DNA. And they have almost the same kind of information because they use DNA as their template. And so, pretty interesting stuff here.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah. So, however, she cautions that the great age of MOR 1125 may put such detail beyond the investigating scientists. You know. But that's awesome.
Wow.
I mean, that stuff previously they only found in, like, you know, mammoth and stuff like that.
I'm glad that happened in Michael Crichton's lifetime. That's good.
Yeah, somebody said, you know, on the news group, Jurassic Park, anyone? And I said, yes, please.
Yeah. Oh, wouldn't that be great? Oh, I love it. That's cool.
I think we need more dinosaurs in our zoo.
Okay. All right.
Wow. You got another story?
Yeah, let's see here. I can scrounge one up. Oh, yes, let's move on to the Da Vinci Code. This ought to be good for some...
Have they finally decoded that damn thing?
Wacky Catholics.
Yeah?
And it's not all Catholics, of course. There are a lot of liberal Catholics out there, but...
Does it say, drink more Ovaltine?
Well, it might as well, because this guy is totally talking out of his ass.
All right.
The Catholic Church has come out swinging against the Da Vinci Code. Is that a porn? Never mind. It sounds like a porno movie.
Jesus is a boxer, right.
Yeah. Dismissing U.S. author Dan Brown's worldwide bestseller about the Vatican suppressing the truth that Jesus had a child as a collection of shameful and unfounded lies. And this is what Cardinal Tarcisio Bertone, deputy head of the Vatican's Pontifical Council, basically he's the guy who might take Pope John Paul's place.
Yeah, now the idea that a person might have
Not
a
the
child,
other Pope.
the idea that a person might have a child
Yes.
is a lie, right?
Oh, yeah.
But then he might rise from the dead. Oh, well,
Yeah, well, no,
obviously true.
Everybody knows that.
That.
Right. He says, don't read it, and above all, don't even buy the Da Vinci Code. Whoa, that's a deep threat, isn't it? He is leading the Vatican's assault on the book.
Fatwa on him.
Well, yeah, you know, they would if they thought they could get away with it, I'm sure. Cardinal, I think that I remember reading somewhere else. It doesn't say this here, but I kind of remember that he didn't actually read the book. I heard that on the Daily Show, or maybe it was Countdown with Keith Olbermann, but the reporter said that the guy didn't read it.
Right.
But that may have been wrong, and it's not mentioned here. But he admitted in an interview, that's Bertone, with the Italian newspaper Il Giornale, that the Catholic Church was worried because, quote, the book is everywhere. Oh, and I love, y'all are going to love this.
It's everywhere.
There is a very real risk that many people who read it will believe that the fables in it are true. Does that sound like another book you know about?
Thank gosh this house does not have an ironiometer.
I know.
Otherwise it wouldn't have a roof.
It would be off the meter, wouldn't it?
Exploded.
Oh, man.
Shrapnel everywhere.
The main theme of the book, which has been in the Italian bestseller list for more than a year, is that the church has long suppressed the fact that Jesus had a child with Mary Magdalene. Quote, you don't do a novel mystifying his or speaking badly of defaming a historic person who has his prestige and his fame in the history of the church in the story of humanity. That's what Bertone said in an interview with Vatican Catholic Radio. He also criticized Catholic bookshops, which have been stocking the popular title.
Makes money.
Yep, so glad they are. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah, but it's not our money.
Yeah. Well, that's what they ought to do. They ought to just ask for a cut.
Yeah.
If they were smart, they'd say, hey, we need some more change.
That's right.
And I have another bit of news out of Arkansas. The Arkansas House Committee has rejected the Intelligent Design Bill.
Yay!
Have y'all done this?
Nice.
I think y'all have done this one. In the past, I mean. This is new, of course.
Yeah.
This is from St. Patty's Day, actually.
Woo.
Legislation that would require the state to teach the theory of intelligent design in public schools failed to get any support in an Arkansas House of Representatives committee on Wednesday.
Cool.
Yay!
Yeah. You can't teach a theory that doesn't exist.
No.
There is no theory.
Yeah. Theory?
Of intelligent design, it's not a theory, it's
Yeah.
a criticism, that's all.
That's right. Representative Mark Martin, a Republican of Prairie Grove, wants the state to teach, along with the theory of evolution, the theory that, quote, certain features of the universe and of living things are best explained by an intelligent cause and not by an undirected process such as natural selection, unquote. This gets me off on a bit of a tangent, but it reminds me of the woman we were talking to last night, the wait person at the restaurant, who was saying that she really doesn't believe in God, or she believes in God, but she doesn't really go to church. And she's afraid not to believe in something because not only of her own fear about, well, what if I'm wrong?
Pascal's wager.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
But she also, but it's a little bit deeper than that because she also doesn't want to disappoint her family, you know, because she's close to her family and they're very, very religious. Anyway, it just is very interesting to me how a lot of people have become, I guess, more generic spiritualists, even though they really have no explanation or reason for believing in the higher being. And that, to me, is how the intelligent design movement seems to be, is they really don't seem to have a lot of basis for this being...
They're led by fundamentalist Christians, or in Jonathan Wells' case, Unification Church people, otherwise known as Moonies.
Boy.
Oh, yeah.
But
wasn't that the subway poisoning guy?
No.
Oh, no, that's never mind. Yeah.
But they use fake language to appeal to a broader base of people, so that they can tell them you're not really buying into a fundamentalist agenda. You're just being open-minded.
Sounds like another pyramid scheme. Only they're
in a way.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Martin, that's Mark Martin of Prairie Grove in Arkansas, describes himself as a conservative Christian and says he doesn't want schools to teach children that God exists or that evolution is wrong. Scientific teaching simply should take on a more agnostic view. No, that is a lie, because if this were truly an agnostic view, he would have no problem with evolution being taught.
Right.
Hello? I mean, and that's the real issue I have with these whack jobs who say, no, we have to have intelligent design to have the other side of things.
Right.
Bullshit.
No, they want to eliminate.
Well, I've got to remind you that when I went to the school board hearings in 2003, they said we're not going to try to get intelligent design in textbooks. What they wanted to do was put a bunch of criticism of evolution in, so that it could basically open the door to talking about intelligent design later. But, you know, they've gone through a number of mutations, the creationists have, trying to get vague enough to the point where they're allowed to be in. And their latest ploy is, no, we're not even talking about intelligent design here. We're just talking about, you know, let's point out all these problems with evolution in the textbooks. And as one guy from the National Center for Science Education said, who was there, you know, if they were really serious about doing good science, then they'd say, and they really believed that there were errors in the books, they would say, let's remove the errors.
Yes.
But they don't want to remove the errors. They want to leave them in and then put criticism.
And not only that, but they want to dilute, by virtue of those kinds of arguments in favor of intelligent design, really all they're trying to do is dilute the idea that critical thinking is appropriate.
Right.
And that, to me, is very dangerous.
They use the language of critical thinking, though. They say, you know, don't you want students to learn how to
think for themselves?
Yes.
And
yes. Don't you want them to learn that science is not dogma? Turning into
man.
comic book guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Worst theory ever.
Yeah, well, he says, that is the same representative, Mark Martin, says, what I'm trying to do here is not to deal directly with the existence or non-existence of God, but restore to science the agnostic viewpoint that there could be or could not be, rather than the dogmatism that actually currently exists. You're absolutely right, Russell. It's all about comic book guy.
I don't think comic book guy would be a creationist.
No, I don't either. But
he was in Mensa in one episode.
Oh, he was? Oh,
yes.
Good.
So was Lisa.
Oh, yeah.
But all this, you know, all this stuff about just trying to get more and more vague and deflect criticism and specific viewpoints makes me want to talk now about this guy who came to our lecture last week.
Oh, go for it.
Well, we had this lecture, and Dennis was there.
Yeah.
The ACA does a lecture every month. Usually we get interesting people, but last week they had to settle for us.
Right, the uninteresting people.
Yeah,
but at least there were, like, four
of
uninteresting
us.
people.
It was me and Jeff and Dennis and Linda.
So
and
now we know how many uninteresting people it takes to equal one interesting person.
So, the four of us were doing sort of a forum about how to argue with theists.
Right.
Because we're all online nerds, and we talk to people online, but, you know, we also argue with people often on the TV show.
Yeah.
And so we went through this whole lecture, which I'm not going to tell you everything about, but in the end, there were questions from the audience. And the last question, before it degenerated into a free-for-all, was this guy we'd never seen before. He sits in the back and raises his hand and says, aren't you atheists, like, basically doing the same thing as theists? Because you're standing in front of people and arguing with them and strongly supporting these beliefs, and it's all just your beliefs and stuff.
No.
So it's like your religion.
Well, and we should point out, too, that this is very unusual for this to happen during a lecture. I mean, a lot of times we'll see new faces, but we don't usually see we don't usually see Christians or anybody else of faith.
Yeah. Well, this guy... Let me paint a picture of this guy for you. By the way, I already went over this on the TV show last week, so if you watch the TV show, I'm going to be repeating myself a little. And Jeff...
I doubt many people in the chat room have seen the TV show.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately.
I have a tape of it that I think you guys would enjoy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Jeff
this
said
guy...
he was there. Oh, and Jeff was there, too.
Yes, I said Jeff was there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
But Jeff didn't hear me stay there and argue, because Jeff argued with him for a couple of minutes, and then he stormed out angrily.
Oh, no.
Of course.
Because this guy was so incredibly annoying.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming Jeff for storming out.
Yeah.
This guy, as my best guess, is that he was he told us that he was a sociology student. So he's basically a college frat boy who learned
probably
some
22, maybe.
Yeah, something
give or
like
take.
that.
Yeah.
Learned a couple of things and then thought he was hot shit. So he said, I'm at this lecture because I want to learn as much as I can about people, and I don't agree with the fundamentalists either. Of course not, because he's a postmodernist. And postmodernists, you'll hear fundamentalists rail about these people because they think that everybody who's not a Christian is a postmodernist, who believes that there is no right and wrong, and there is no objective truth. And I listen to these guys all the time, and I think, bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. I should point out that the word postmodernist sounds a lot like something comic book guy would say. I'm a postmodernist. Postmodernist.
This comic book is very much in the postmodern archetype paradigm.
You do that a lot better. That's good. But anyway, so y'all had a knockdown drag out and...
Oh, yeah, I hung around for like half an hour afterwards.
Yeah.
And he said... and he was very smart. Superior.
Oh, really?
He does this thing, which I don't know if you've seen people debate like this, but he would comment on the other person who's debating with him. So when Manda was around, he said, "You're shaking when you talk to me. Maybe that's why you only like to argue online."
Oh, no.
Dickhead.
That's so stupid.
And Jeff said bullshit a couple of times, which is,
makes for a lively discussion.
Makes for a lively discussion, exactly. And so after that, he was like, "Oh, is bullshit a proper argument for you?" Bullshit.
So what was the crux of his being there? He just wanted to argue?
The crux of his being was that he actually accused us all of just loving to argue. And I said, "But you've been arguing with us for an hour. So you like it, right?" And he said, "No, I'm only doing this one time."
Boy.
Did he say
I wish I could have
it?
seen that.
I don't know. We advertise somewhere.
Yeah, several places. Yeah, well, anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, so anyway, at one point he said, and this was before I got a crack at him, he said, "Guys, what I'm taking away from all this is that you can't be an atheist and be a postmodernist like me because they're too different." And I said, "That's ridiculous. I mean, none of us here are postmodernists, but I mean, there are all kinds of atheists. Some of them might be postmodernists." He said, "How do you know?" I said, "Well, okay, I believe that you're an atheist." And he said, "Okay." Because, he had said a minute ago that everybody has their own belief systems.
Right. Yeah.
And everybody is right in their own belief system. So,
that's such a cop-out.
So I said,
right.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe you're an atheist. I believe you're an atheist and you're a postmodernist, therefore you're a postmodern atheist. He said, "Okay, in your beliefs, that's true." And I said, "Yeah, so what you said is wrong. Because you said there cannot be a postmodernist atheist. But I just proved that you're one in my belief system. So there you go."
Yeah.
What a kook.
Eat your postmodernism and then smile.
Yeah. Man.
And he wanted to know, I think his issue with us was that we we give a shit about something.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think the postmodernist viewpoint really is that, you should be all chill and accept things as they come and be a frat boy and, be like, whatever, man.
Yeah. Like the nihilists.
Yeah.
Well, they're nihilists, though.
Nihilist dudes.
Nihilists. For those of you who haven't seen it, definitely see The Big Lebowski.
I pointed out to him, it's like, not believing in a God can't be a religion. Otherwise, not playing baseball is a sport.
Yeah.
It's like...
Right, but, I mean, this guy said that what you're doing is the same thing as the Christians do, and in a completely fatuous way, he's right. We both actually think something is true, and we both argue about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we both get together and hang out with other people who do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's stupid to say those two things are identical, because it could, in principle, be, and I'm not saying that this is definitely the case, but it could be the case that one side is right. In which case it's not the same thing. Because one group of people is arguing something that is in fact correct, and another group of people could be arguing for something that is in fact incorrect.
But that doesn't fit with the postmodernist theory where everyone's correct.
Right. So I brought up this example, which is, those Nigerian emails you get where they say, I will
give you $1 million.
$20 million if you
I think it's I need $20 million.
Yes. No, I need a few $1,000. They wouldn't want to make you suspicious.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, how does that remind you of that?
Yeah, well, no, I said this to him. I said, okay, your friend gets one of these emails. And he says, dude, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm just going to send $3,000 to this guy and I'll be rich. Would you stop him?
Yeah.
Would you say something that might discourage him from that?
Yeah.
And at first he didn't want to go this way. He was like, no, because it could be my subjective belief that this is a scam, but maybe, he's actually right. And so, and so by interfering, man, I could actually do more harm than good. I said, okay, man.
I know where you're
standing, you're just a son bitch.
Yeah. I said, okay, man. Let's say that a little girl is running toward a swimming pool because you don't want to interfere with anything. Your subjective belief is that she's going to run into the swimming pool and drown.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue your policy of not interfering? And he said, well, no, because a life is at stake. I said, how do you know? That's just your subjective belief. The little girl might actually, by someone's beliefs, walk on water, go straight across, and come out all right. And he said, well, I can't take the chance. And I said, okay, so you do believe in interfering with people. So all that means is that you draw the line in a different place than I do. I happen to draw the line at people
con games.
At people trying to con other people. What if it's a little old lady being swindled out of her life savings?
Yeah.
You care about that?
No, because the life's not at stake. I can't believe he really believes that. I think he was just trying to argue.
No, I think
he can't surrender a point.
I think this is a case where a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. Yeah. Where learning something, learning a little something in college and not having a clue about the implications makes you stupid.
Yeah.
Of course, that's just my belief, man.
Man.
I said, so he kept insisting that atheism and theism is the same thing. If you argue for something, then you're doing the same thing as the other guys. And I said, all right, you do believe that there's a physical world out there that doesn't change depending on what you believe, right? Because he had actually admitted to that point. I didn't think he would.
Yeah,
but he did. He said, this wall I'm leaning on is real.
Wow. Hello, admission.
Yeah. It is. So I said, all right, do you agree that you could work more or less, that your beliefs could be more or less in harmony with the actual world out there? And he said, sure. So I said, all right, here's the difference between theists and atheists. Atheists believe that you should modify your belief to become as much in tune with what's really out there as possible. Theists start with a belief and then modify what they think their perceptions are to fit what they already believe. That's the difference. And that's about where we ended up.
Yeah. Wow. You think you'll come back next week?
No.
Oh. Well, actually, I wouldn't mind more discussion like that, but not during the lecture. It's too bad he wasn't at happy hour
that
or
was
something.
the most fun I've had in a long time.
And the weird thing was, I was worried, all during that thing, I was wondering whether I should mention that, I didn't think I could, really argue with theists face to face about their beliefs, because I would be, hurting their feelings, and I didn't know whether I could really do that. 5 seconds after this guy opens his mouth, I'm sitting there shouting at him.
Oh, no.
Saying, at first I thought he was a theist, right? And he's going, well, why are you people talking here? Why are you arguing? And I say, dude, you people burned us before in the past, And so now I'm thinking,
your book says we should burn in hell.
I had to completely reassess my thoughts about how I would react, in a face-to-face confrontation with theists. And I had to come to the conclusion, no, I have to pull myself back from going insane on that.
I have no problem getting up with people and arguing with them. It's just that I think one thing we didn't cover when talking about how to argue with people is that you've got to sort of modify your language to get through to somebody.
Yeah,
if one tactic isn't working, then you kind of jump around to something else until you find something that sticks, and then you nail them.
Yeah. Can I plug my website? I have a website. It's in its infancy, but I am going to be adding some more links to atheism and atheist-type discussions. Also, there's an Atheoki page. So if there are any atheists out there who sing karaoke, please let me know. I would love to put your song up on the air. And also you can find Jeff D's version of the famous John Ashcroft song, infamous John Ashcroft song. His John Ashcroft's, of course, was "Let the Eagles Soar," but Jeff did a wonderful parody called "Let the Constitution Snore." You'll find that up there.
Yeah.
And
we caught John Ashcroft. We made fun of John Ashcroft's song way before Michael Moore did.
Way before. That's right, we did. Like right after it first came out. The same week.
Same week.
Yeah, he wrote that parody. And he wrote it right before the show. Anyway, the website is www.maremojo. That's maremojo.org.
Cool. Any other stories?
Well, I bet I could round one up. Do you have any more?
Hey, how fast was that car going?
What?
Oh.
Yeah, you got it?
I got it.
You wanted to read that one.
That's right.
Sort of a God is my co-pilot.
God is my co-pilot, yeah. So in this case, we don't expect people to take it that literally.
It's maremojo.org.
Oh, org.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
maremojo.org. A Michigan man accused of speeding through Tippecanoe County on Interstate 65 with his young daughter in the vehicle. And by the way, this gets less funny later.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Told investigators that the car was being guided by God.
Oh, no.
Scott D. Guzik, 37, of Southgate, Michigan, was arrested on suspicion of neglect of a dependent and resisting law enforcement. He's being held at Tippecanoe County Jail on a $250,000 surety bond. His daughter, Amanda Guzik, 6, was not injured and is being cared for by her mother, Guzik's ex-wife. Mm-hmm. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Where's the funny part?
Can you say mental illness?
According to a probable cause affidavit filed Monday in Tippecanoe Superior Court 6, Guzik told Trooper Jared Patty that the vehicle was driving itself and going fast because it must be what God wanted.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
That's an interesting defense.
Yes, it is, but here's the not-so-funny part.
Yeah.
He told police he was led by God from his home outside Detroit into the country to sacrifice his daughter.
Oh, no.
Who, Guzik told police, had been attacked by demons in her sleep.
Oh, no.
Guzik said God told him to get his daughter out of the house to escape the demons because she was in danger.
Oh, I'm so glad they stopped him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sacrificing his daughter, Guzik said, would save the world.
No.
I mean, good grief.
We all seen that movie?
Frailty?
Yes, Frailty.
Yes.
No,
great clip. No, you need to see it.
I need to check it out.
We have 5 minutes left, and we haven't contributed to any of the blather.
Do y'all want to talk about Shivo?
Quick!
Quick, fill it in. Last 5 minutes.
I don't know if we should be part of the problem. But we're gonna, aren't we?
Well, we can simply shout, get out of her way, and just...
4 minutes, I'm sorry.
All right, you start, Russell.
Me? No,
Yeah.
you start.
Okay, well, I have been thinking about this a lot, and I know that on the atheist list on Yahoo, there's been a lot of discussion about it, and it really is disconcerting to me that a lot of the...
As we broadcast this now, by the way, Terry Schiavo has had her tubes removed on Friday.
Yes.
And they tried like 20 times to stop them, including Jeb Bush saying that we'll take it, we'll bring the police into the hotel and take her over. And something like that.
Yeah.
And
they made it all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court, and of course they refused to hear it again.
And the local court, the Court of Appeals said, no, you may not do that, Jeb Bush, and we have guards posted outside to make sure that you don't do that. Mm-hmm. So they had to guard against the state's own governor. Right.
There's a guard in her room to make sure that nobody reinserts the feeding tube.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, it's insanity, isn't it? I really want to know from people, and just from a practical standpoint. Just tonight, when you go home and you get in bed, I want you to put your pillow up behind your head, and I want you to just sit there and look off into space without any conscious thought, if you can try that. And imagine being like that for 15 years, and tell me you'd still want to be alive.
But in this case, there's nothing...
But I know, there's nothing going on.
There's nothing to be unhappy about.
Flatline EEG.
Spinal fluid in her brain.
Yeah. The brain's an abnormal structure.
Yeah, it's so tragic all the way around. I'm really tired, though, of people saying that her husband, and this has been on the atheist list, I'm really tired of people saying that her husband should have just stayed married to her, stayed by her bedside, not gone on and had another girlfriend and a family of his own. I really am angry about that because I just don't understand the rationale behind it. I know there are adultery laws in Florida. At least that's my understanding. And I really just feel that this is not adultery in the sense of the way we normally think about it. And not to mention the stupidity of having adultery be illegal. But again, I can understand the pain involved from her family in a sense at his marrying now or being with another woman and having children by her. But at the same time, do they want him to sacrifice sacrificed his life? I mean, that is what he would be doing.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they do.
It's
Clearly.
ridiculous. I don't understand that. I really
And
don't.
this has become a
black
big
and white world.
this has become a big cause celebre for the religious
everybody.
right, and they've all been praying that something will happen to change the court's mind or force them to keep the feeding tube.
I like how it was phrased in on Air America. They said he should have been reincarnated as a political football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there is a God, how about this? Don't pray for the court to change their mind. Let them take the tube out, and then pray for her to go on living anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If there are miracles, that would qualify as a real verifiable one, instead of praying for some people to change their mind, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're going to leave with that incongruously happy song that we started with. This is you too, and I think it's like a beautiful day or something.
And I have a new saying, this is it, sweeties, so live it up.
And farewell, y'all.
That's right.